Roll it.
Ready?
All right, it's 7 o'clock and to get started, I'd like to welcome everyone to the planning board meeting of April 2nd. Year's going quick, isn't it? Man, I tell you. Want to join in a pledge of allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, Catherine, you want to call the roll?
Mr. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Arena?
Here.
Mr. Kashani?
Here.
Mr. Kosel?
Here.
Mr. Malta?
Here.
Mr. Mixel?
Here.
Mr. Rampy?
Here.
Mr. Hauser?
Here.
Here. It's a light meeting, actually, we had just 2 applications on here, and both are present, so we can go ahead and get started, I guess. You want to go ahead, Dave?
Nicole Woods subdivision located 1850 Lake Road. Applicant Peter Ritz is requesting preliminary final site subdivision approval for a 5 lots, single-family subdivision. Location involves located in the LL District, single-family, large lot under the Code of Town of Webster.
Yeah.
Good evening, Al LaRue, Lieutenant LaRue Associates. Since our last meeting, there's been some changes to the drawing. One, we moved the house on lot 1. We flipped it on the other side of the septic system, away from the Kester's property. And right now, we're not from their property, from their house. Right now, it's 565 feet from Kester's home, our proposed home. We moved the driveway to the west for the first 900 feet, and that was to preserve vegetation along the east property line. That was in response to one of the neighbors to the east had a concern about us taking out all the vegetation there. We eliminated the storm sewer between lots 4 and 5, which was a concern about the discharge down the pipe, down to the lake. We created, as a result of that, we created a stormwater pond between lots 4 and 5, complete with an outfall structure and a spillway. We had some conversations with the DEC regarding the plan to discharge down the bank and work in the coastal erosion zone. Well, that didn't go very well. We sent them plans, and that didn't go very well. They said, no way, don't do anything in the coastal erosion zone, stay out of it. Okay. So as a result, the new plans show a complete avoidance of any activity in the coastal erosion zone. We lowered there's between lots 4 or in lot 5, there's 4 ditches. There's a 4-way intersection of ditches that there's a confluence right there. We lowered that 3 feet.
Do you have new drawings? Because what you're saying, we're not looking at the same thing?
Yeah, you got new ones, you should have new ones there.
We submitted them.
The one you got, you should have.
This one here's a new one?
The old one was dated December 25, I think, or something like that. I got the old one too, but the new one is March 25th.
I
Lower stamp number.
Yeah, I got the old one. I'm sorry. I'll share with you.
John got one? You got it, right?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
So we lowered that intersection of those 4 ditches by 3 feet. And that's so that we wouldn't impact the house on lot 5. We do have the DRC comments. Don was good enough to provide them to us. We have responded. His concern, DRC's concern was, do we comply with the LWRP? And we do comply in most cases where we exceed the minimums in that plan. They have a minimum acreage of 1.5 acres. Well, our minimum our lot is 3 acres. So we're really not very very dense. There was a question about the wetlands. We didn't engage a wetland specialist. We didn't see any when we were doing topographic work out there. I was out there several times all over the site. In fact, I did all the perk tests. And I didn't see any, and I'm a graduate forester, so I know what wetland species are. And so, therefore, we didn't do anything. The only other item was a concern about the stormwater pond discharging to the existing cut, if you will, that goes over the bank. That's where the flow presently goes. This goes actually into two places right now. And I put one above the other, and I should have put this one on top. But there's this one cut here to the west, and there's a larger one to the east. We're discharging to the larger one, and we're eliminating all the water that's going to the westerly one. Ditches all coming in, gravity right into the pond. Again, as I said, there's going to be an outfall structure and an emergency spillway. Best way to handle that is to rip-wrap the discharge and rip-wrap it, seriously rip-wrap it, not with little tiny pebbles, but with some 50 to 100-pound stones and some mix so that it really does a good job. And that's the best method that we found to slow down any water that's going down through there. Now, we all recognize that there's going to be more water discharge, but it's going to go slower than it would in the undeveloped condition. So,
Can I interrupt for a second, Al? Now, this one I have is date stamped March 25th, when it was received, but it's the same date on here as the old drawing that I have. Both of them are the same, so we don't have those new drawings.
Yeah, you do, it's the March 25th drawing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's March
but-
25th.
That's
Look
the
at
latest drawings that we received. And
Look
that's
at the
what was passed
modification
out.
on the back.
On the back?
Go open to the second to last page, you'll see exactly where he's at. You see the pond there?
I'm in pages 8 to 9, talking about page 9 right
Second to
now.
last page, I believe. Nine, sheet 9.
Sheet there?
Sheet 9 is where we are.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
See the pond right there?
Yeah.
That's what he's talking about. See the dark part, there's one upper part, the lower, the east and the west?
But he was saying
That's by
for,
the lake.
he was saying for how they moved something on lot 1 here, but both the lot 1s I have are the same. The old drawing and the new drawing.
I think primarily it's the back sections of
Okay,
this change.
all right.
My drawing does show the house being moved on lot 1. It was over on the south side of the septic system, because the neighbor was concerned about it. We moved it to the north side.
Okay, the drawing I have has it on the south side, which is dated March 25th.
Maybe we have a cover sheet that we never did fix. We noticed that later.
Sheet number 13 is, refers to that septic system on the south side of the house.
Is there any erosion on that bank right now, Al?
No, nothing.
Current, I mean, it's always been eroding over the years, obviously.
Yeah, what happens right now is there's a swale that runs like this, and it goes down, and it runs right down that big scarp, that big cut.
Yeah,
And so we're taking that water off of there, but going around on the west side, it goes around and then dives into that. So there's two areas where that water coming from about the middle of lot 2, all that water is heading down that way. And so that westerly discharge point that naturally goes right now, we're eliminating that. creating the pond, and then controlling the outfall into the larger of the two. And then doing the riprap and whatnot to slow that down, but then it travels on its way down over the hill. But the DEC is unwilling to do anything. So we're completely staying outside that erosion control, that,
So you put
Those erosion zones.
riprap at the head, at the end of it, you know.
yeah, right at the
Outfall.
discharge point, right.
But what happens once, I mean, that's gonna slow it down, but there's still a large amount of water going on. And it's all concentrated.
It'll still go its merry
Not
way,
reserved for
but it's
erosion?
concentrated now in two places rather than one.
I'm surprised.
There's no other way to do it. And I'm sure that we'll riprap more of that down over the hill, just to keep it from eroding as much as we
Yeah,
can.
because that soil down through that whole area there is very erodible.
It's all clay,
Yeah,
so it's tough soil.
it's tough, but water runs right down it and washes it out. It's all
Yeah.
through that whole area there.
Yeah.
Very familiar with that. You got 5 lots on this, isn't there? You got 5 lots on private, the limit is 4 lots, isn't it, on private drive?
Well, there's one that fronts out onto, in 2 spots onto the Lake Road. Lot 1 actually has frontage on Lake Road.
Yeah, I see it's got, lot 1 is large, it encompasses the house that's currently there.
Yeah, goes around it, right.
But there's no driveway to it, so you got 5 driveways on a private drive.
Right.
So 5 homes are technically on a private drive, aren't they?
Well, we're accessing the private drive with one of the homes, but they actually have frontage. They could have a driveway out through, but it wouldn't make any sense to do
Well,
that.
what I'm looking at is somebody else comes in now with the same type of a development, 4-lot subdivision. They say, I want to put 5 lots, you just approve them with 5 lots on a private drive.
What they'd have to do is establish a homeowners association for the maintenance of that private drive.
On this,
It's not a private drive, it's not a driveway, it's a private road.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
It's longer than 500 feet. Okay? Yeah, they would need to establish a homeowners association for the maintenance of that. Either that or obtain a no action letter from the Attorney General.
for this year.
Yes.
Okay, so that is something that we have to do with it then, all right.
And we're willing to do that.
Okay.
Not to change courses, but do we have a copy of the DEC letter? Did we see?
We didn't get a DEC letter, we got verbal over the phone after we submitted plans to them. And they said, don't even bother with it. So we didn't get correspondence,
Okay,
but Pete was involved in that, we had a conference call. So
okay.
that
So
was
there's
just,
no paper trail, in other words?
no paper trail, but we were both in a conference call
Yeah.
and
I
it
wish
was,
we could get something for our file.
Can you get something from them, Al?
I mean, you
Something where they
modified,
stand, because if one of these homeowners down the road start, this lot 4 or 5 starts getting heavy erosion or something, that happens, and then you come to the town and say, well, wait a minute, what's the story here,
Right now,
And you say,
we're
well,
avoiding-
DEC did approve it.
right now, we're avoiding the need for contacting the DEC at all. We're just staying ready from the DEC on that. And so we're avoiding them completely.
no, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Lewin, and I certainly embrace what you're saying. But the problem looks like, the record looks like it's got a plan, and then all of a sudden you just change course, and there's nothing to go from A to B. There's no paper trail to show why you changed course. It'd be nice to have something in the file.
Beth, the head engineer for the DEC, said to me, what's your reason
Should you
for
be speaking
doing
into
this?
the, can you speak into the microphone, please, so they can pick it up for the record?
Just give your name and address.
Pete Garrett's 249 County Line Road. The head engineer, Beth, for the DEC, just basically said to us, what's your reason for doing this? And we said we wanted to control the erosion, we wanted to, she says, well, you gotta remove some trees from the bank. She says, I like those trees, that's not good enough reason, I'm not giving you the permit. That was the end of the conversation. That's how we're at, that's how we had to go back and do something different.
Okay.
So then there's something different, have they reviewed the something different?
Well, she basically, she said,
No, they haven't. The answer is no, they haven't, because we're not impacting the coastal erosion zone, and no need to contact them again, because we're avoiding that area.
If you rip-rap it, you will be doing something in there, so.
We're gonna rip-rap it up to the coastal erosion zone and no further.
But that's a considerable amount of water running down there, though, isn't it? You've got a lot of impervious surface, driveway, 5 houses. I'm guessing this year, I mean, you're the engineer.
Well, it's gonna be more water, but it's gonna be controlled at a less of a rate than it would be in the undeveloped
Yeah,
condition.
to a point, but that's like a puddle back there relative to. How deep is that then? I can't see the numbers on, what is it, about 2 feet deep?
What is,
That pond area, you've got the detention area.
no, the actual area that's gonna be wet is 4 feet deep. Then there's a, safety bench, and then to the top of the berm, it's another 3 feet. So it's a little oversized, but it works.
Personally, I'd feel more comfortable if we had something from DEC saying where they stood on it. I mean, that's just my opinion, I don't know, the rest of the board can, you know, I mean, I don't know, I mean, that's just something that has some assurance, you know? I mean, they're the overseers of that property, that waterfront, you know?
We need some paper
Huh?
trail. We need some paper trail.
What do you think, Dave?
Yeah. They should say,
Even if they look at the new
as long as
plan.
you stay out of that, we have no problem.
Right.
You know, or we have a problem and this is what it should be. But they should,
As long as they're committing to some of it, you know, willing to say, yeah, it'll work or it won't work, or,
You know, I'd be happy even if we tendered them the revised plan and they just send that, there's nothing more further we want to comment about. At least we've done our due diligence.
Yeah.
I don't know historically if you've ever done that before. You're saying you probably don't even need to because you're staying out of the area.
That was our approach to it. Stay away from it, so you don't need to have any contact with them.
well, you're not,
The problem is,
understand that.
we know that there's other areas along the shoreline of Lake Ontario that has erosion problems. And the latest history is accelerated in some areas. It's just a potential problem that's going to come and slap the town face down the road. How could you guys improve this thing?
Right.
Basically, is what the residents gotta say.
Well, if I owned, in all honesty, if I owned lot 4 or 5 here, and my house is on the waterfront right there like that, and I've got a pond, or whatever you wanna call that thing, you know, it's just a detention pond, small detention pond. I probably down the road will end up wanting to get a few loads of dirt and fill it in. I mean, that's reality, the way this stuff goes, you know?
Mhm.
We've had this kind of stuff happen in wetlands, there's wetland, don't touch it, yeah, okay, put signs in. 2 years later, the people have filled it in, you know? So, it's just a concern, so if the DEC came up with something, I think we'd be
I think
a lot more secure.
you're within your rights to ask for something, Tony,
What do you guys
192.17.
think?
Yeah,
192.17 subdivision C, the
Just
town
something, just
planning
cover
board
over
shall be responsible.
trails, you know?
yeah.
What's that, I'm sorry?
192.17C says the town planning board shall be responsible for referring as necessary or required to various departments or agencies. So either he gets it or we send it out for comment. But somebody's gotta do something. We need a paper trail.
Could you possibly take care of that, Al, like that?
Sure, sure.
Let's do that. I think everybody's gonna feel more comfortable with it. All right?
Okay.
That way there's something from them saying, yep, we looked at this and we're okay with it. I think it gets us, the town, off the hook then. All right? What's that?
So no, it doesn't.
Well, you'll still.
At least it shows a better effort.
That's right, you're still gonna get the calls, but at least you can refer back, look, this wasn't just approved by the town, the DEC who controls the water front, you know, the
Coastal erosion.
local waterfront revitalization and so on, that's their jurisdiction, and we've got it covered. Yeah, okay, let's do that, all right?
Okay,
Along Lake Road, where does that drainage go now?
it goes, all the water along Lake Road goes down to a point where it crosses over to the south. It's all going across to the south. And there's a culvert, there's a catch basin right here just west of our proposed driveway. And an outlet structure that goes to that ditch, the farmer's field there. So it all goes west from the east side and east from the west side, all to that low point and across.
That whole area is wet out there anyways, it's very plateaued, so to speak.
Yeah, it's pretty flat.
It's
right?
flat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it looks like lot one, and what you said, half of lot two is actually flowing towards Lake Road.
That's true.
All right, let's do that, see if we can get a letter from them before we go any further with this and move with that, okay?
Okay.
What do you want to do? You want to just table it to the next meeting? You probably shouldn't, I mean, if they've already seen it, they probably shouldn't have any issue getting a letter. Even, you know, we could do, right? Well, yeah, if they want, unless we want to move with the preliminary and then hold on the final, but we can do it one time.
Well, you gotta deal with seeker, preliminary.
That's
so-
right, we can't do secret really until we get that, yeah. All right, let's do that, let's get a letter from DEC saying that they're okay with it, all right?
All right,
Okay, thanks.
all right.
Wait, table.
Yeah, let's make a motion table.
I'll make a motion to table Nicole, let me get out of here. Nicole Wood subdivision until our April 16th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Coastal,
Aye.
Mr. Mixel,
Aye.
Mr. Rampy, Mr. Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Malta,
Aye.
Mr. Arena, Mr. Bashani.
All right, yeah, let's just